Do you know who Madeline Anderson is?
I'm the first African American woman director to direct a half-hour film in the United States.
Madeline Anderson is a name etched into the history of filmmaking, not only as an artist, but as a trailblazer. But this journey to this monumental achievement was not easy. This is the story of Madeline Anderson. Born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania in 1923, Anderson grew up in a segregated society. At a young age, she knew she wanted to go to college to avoid falling into domestic work, being that domestic work was the only job women could get at the time. So Anderson, at the age of 12, started to work odd jobs to gain enough money to go to college. And with that money and some scholarship money, Anderson was able to attend Millersville State Teachers College. Anderson believed that she wanted to become a teacher because she always loved to tell stories and express the knowledge that she had gained. But here is where Anderson hit one of her first roadblocks. Millersville State was extremely racist, from students socially chastising her to the white students even throwing things at Madeline. This caused Madeline to hate it there and only stayed for a year, going back home to Lancaster. But Madeline did not stop there. With this new mindset and a partial scholarship from NYU, Anderson decided to gather the rest of her money and move to New York for film school. Anderson's life would change for the better when she met Richard Leacock. Richard Leacock was a very accomplished documentarian that gave Anderson a job as a production manager at his production company. This experience allowed Anderson to learn all the rudimentary and technical skills of filmmaking. Anderson took all this knowledge of filmmaking and created her first film, Integration Report 1. Integration Report 1 is a documentary that captures the struggles and progress of the civil rights movement during the late 1950s and early 1960s, focusing on pivotal events and activism efforts including sit-ins, boycotts, and protests for racial equality. Her films were revolutionary not only because of her subject matter, but because of her authenticity. Anderson's unique perspective as a black woman influenced her work with a sense of truth that was unmatched. But here's where Anderson ran into her next roadblock. Anderson struggled to get her film played in theaters due to discrimination of her race and gender, and also because her film was an independently funded film, causing this film to be seen by little to none. To help with this problem of her film being independently funded, Anderson wanted to become an official member of the film industry. And the way Anderson was going to do this is the film industry unions. But
It was a catch-22. You couldn't get a job unless you were in the union, but you couldn't get into the union unless you had a job.
these industry unions were grandfathered positions, meaning that either your father or a relative had to be a part of the union for you to get in. This is something Anderson, being an African American woman, did not have. So instead of joining the producer or directors union like she wanted, Madeline chose the editors union for two reasons. First, because how easy it was to get in, and also because how flexible and stable the job was. Anderson ended up getting into the editors union, working as an apprentice, manually rolling film. She did this grueling job for about 2 years. Then when it was time to graduate, after meeting all the requirements to move to the next level of the union administrators said,
They said, oh, well, we're not taking in anybody right now.
So Madeline said,
So I said, well, if you don't hire me, I'm going to sue you.
Then Anderson went to the NLRB, but before she could file a suit, the editors union gave her a job. During this time, Anderson also created her next film, I Am Somebody. I Am Somebody is a documentary that chronicles a labor strike by black women hospital workers in Charlotte, North Carolina in 1969. This strike was significant in the context of both civil rights and labor rights. Anderson made this film after her experiences with the labor unions in the film industry as an African American woman. With this new film, Anderson was able to go on the road showing it to different women's groups and film seminars. where she met a producer for a new show at the time called Sesame Street. This producer was looking for a supervising film editor to manage their growing short film department. Anderson was intrigued by this new opportunity, but had one stipulation.
If I'm supervising your filmmakers, I also want to become one of your filmmakers.
Anderson continued to work both as a supervising film editor and a filmmaker for Sesame Street, creating short films for Sesame Street that highlighted diversity and inclusion, teaching children who watch Sesame Street about other communities besides their own. Despite her major contributions, Anderson's work was often overshadowed by her male counterparts. But today her legacy is finally receiving the recognition that it deserves. In 2017, the Museum of African American History and Culture celebrated her and her works at the American Black Film Festival. Madeline Anderson's work stands as a powerful reminder of the transformative power of storytelling. She showed the world that representation matters, that Black women can not only shape the narrative, but lead the movement. And with her resilience and courage and tenacity, she created a legacy that other filmmakers today can build off of and thrive in the film industry. Madeline Anderson is more than a filmmaker. She is a movement.